Chris Eubank Jr. is going beast mode in training, says he's gonna flatten Conor Benn like never before. He's not just fighting, he's coming to shut Benn up for good. Even Roy Jones Jr., Eubank's former trainer and a boxing legend himself, didn't hold back when asked about the matchup. He stated, gonna be hard for him because Chris Eubank, first, he's bigger, he's faster, he hits harder, he's had more experience in really big fights. I don't see how you're gonna beat Chris Eubank Jr. Coming from a man who's trained champions and been one. That's not just talk, that's a warning. Roy knows what Eubank brings when he's locked in, and right now, the guy's in the zone. With every punch in camp, Chris is sharpening his weapons, and if Benn thinks this is just another fight, he's in for a rude awakening. This ain't friendly, it's personal, and Eubank's coming to settle the score in savage style. And it's not just the legends backing Eubank, even the guys who feel his power in sparring are picking sides. Troy Williamson, who's gone rounds with Eubank Jr. in the gym, had a lot to say about this fight. He broke it down in plain terms. Size, experience, and strength all favor Chris. And when someone who's taken those punches gives their take, you better listen.
I'm really excited as a fan, but if I was to pick a winner, I'd go with Eubank.
What's up?
And I think he's been in with the better caliber of opponents. He's bigger, he's obviously stronger. I think Conor Benn's not the same fighter since he got caught with them performance enhancing drugs in his system. I don't think he's the same fighter. He hasn't got the same explosiveness. He's not knocking people out no more. So if you asked me last year, I would have probably went with Conor Benn. But obviously now, on a level playing field, got to go with Chris.
Troy didn't just throw shade. He raised serious questions about Conor Benn's form since the PED scandal. He pointed out how Benn's explosiveness hasn't looked the same, and how that edge might be gone. For Troy, this fight isn't about hype. It's about who's real under the lights. And with both fighters stepping in on a level playing field, he's putting his money on the man he knows can go to war, Chris Eubank Jr. But Troy didn't stop there. He even hinted that this fight might not go the distance. After trading leather with Eubank in sparring, he knows the kind of power Chris is packing. And if Conor's not 100%, things could get real dangerous, real fast. Troy kept it honest and didn't sugarcoat a thing. He stated, possibility. Possible it's possible that he could stop him, but I just think you're going to win. That little pause says it all, and even Troy sees a knockout coming if Benn slips up. It's not just about winning on points anymore. Eubank might be hunting for a statement finish, and with all the bad blood, don't be surprised if Chris goes for the kill. This isn't just another bout, no, it's turning into a grudge match, and Eubank's looking to end it with fireworks. Plenty of voices are backing Eubank going into this fight. Tony Yoka shared his thoughts after watching the press conferences heat up. The build-up's been fiery, but Yoka kept his focus on the physical facts. He pointed out what many are starting to admit: size matters in this clash.
Very, very exciting fight, you know, and what's been happening in the press conference, it's getting excited, you know. But I think Eubank is a little bit bigger and has more in it, you know. Just the size is a little bit too big for Benn.
Yoka kept it real. Eubank's frame, reach, and natural size advantage could be too much for Benn to handle. In fights like this, small differences turn into big problems under pressure. If Benn can't get inside or push Eubank back, it could be a long night. And when even top-level pros are pointing to physical dominance, you know this isn't just talk, it's a warning sign. And if all that wasn't enough, Chris Eubank Jr. himself made sure to let the world know exactly where he stands. No holding back, no fake respect, just raw confidence. In a recent interview, Chris didn't just talk about winning, he talked about dominating. The way he said it had fans buzzing and Benn loyalists shaking.
It's because I'm not buckling, I'm not giving it any inch, especially not to that guy. I'm going to devour that boy.
Straight up.
that's it. He will get eaten in front of millions of people.
This wasn't just trash talk, it sounded more like a promise. Chris made it clear, he's not coming to box safe or dance around. He's coming to devour Conor Benn. With the mindset he's showing, it's not about points or rounds, it's about making a statement. And when a fighter talks like that, you know he's already visualized the finish. Brutal, loud, and unforgettable. But not everyone sees this as a one-sided beatdown. Veteran trainer Don Charles gave a more balanced take on the fight, bringing in some serious insight. While many are leaning towards Eubank, Don pointed out key factors that could shift things. He spoke about weight, age, and the fighting styles that could come into play. It was a reminder that this fight has layers, and nothing is guaranteed.
Well, most definitely. If anyone should know, his father, senior, he said he's mine, and I second that opinion. That's a factor. The weight is a factor. The age, nobody seems to mention, is also a factor. Conor Benn being the younger man at his prime, yeah? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Benn, especially the way he fights like his father, very aggressive, yeah? And listen, if I'm gonna have to, I normally can't say to you, predict what I believe will happen. Christopher Jr. is the bigger man, granted. It depends. It depends. If he's been living the lifestyle, that's also a factor. So it's a 50-50 fight.
Don didn't deny Eubank's size advantage, but he highlighted that Conor Benn is in his prime. Younger, hungry, and aggressive like his father. He also questioned whether Eubank has truly been living the fighter lifestyle outside the ring. For Don, it's not just about stats, it's about mindset, timing, and momentum. That's why he calls it a true 50-50 fight, and in boxing, those are the ones that explode when the bell rings. Roy Jones Jr. weighed in with a more detailed take. After a week full of opinions, analysis, and heated exchanges, his breakdown brought real clarity. After seeing both fighters up close, Roy laid out the full picture with no bias. He acknowledged Conor Benn's biggest threat, his power, but also explained where Eubank's real edge lies. It wasn't just hype this time, it was a full breakdown from a boxing mind that's seen it all.
I think it's gonna be a very good fight. Conor has punching power chances. Chris is the bigger guy, so you give Chris the advantage going in because he's the bigger guy, but Conor does have exceptional punching power, so it's gonna be a great fight. I think Chris should win the fight. I think Chris should outbox him, outsmart him, but he will have to be smart early because Conor is a great puncher.
Roy made it clear, if Eubank sticks to his strengths, he should win. Outboxing and outsmarting Benn is the key, especially in those dangerous early rounds. But he also warned that Benn's punching power is no joke and could flip the fight in a heartbeat. It was a sharp reminder that this isn't just a grudge match. It's a high-stakes chess game with real consequences. And in a surprising twist, Roy Jones Jr. didn't just speak on Eubank, he also had some solid advice for Conor Benn. Even though he's worked closely with Chris, Roy showed real respect for the sport by offering Benn some guidance. It wasn't about picking sides, it was about giving a young fighter the tools to survive a big step up. Roy focused on something most people overlook: the basics.
You have to take your fundamentals with you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't take your fundamentals, you can't go nowhere. If you can take your basic foundation and your basic fundamentals, it all stays the same. A little more weight just means a little bit more power. But if you don't take the fundamentals with you, a little more weight will mean a little less power. So I advise him to take his fundamentals with him when he's going.
Roy kept it real. Without strong fundamentals, all the power in the world won't save you. He reminded Benn that moving up in weight doesn't guarantee more strength if you forget your foundation. That kind of wisdom comes from experience. And Roy's had it all, from wars in the ring to training champions. For Conor, the message was simple but serious: stay sharp, stay grounded, or risk getting exposed. Teddy Atlas, one of the sharpest voices in boxing, gave his take, and he summed it up in one word: banger. Known for calling it how it is, Teddy didn't focus just on skill or records. Instead, he talked about why this fight has the whole world watching. From family legacy to real bad blood, this bout has every ingredient fans crave.
We're going to use their terminology. It's a banger. It's a banger. You know, people can't wait to see that. And they're all excited about that, and rightfully so. You know, it's got the promotional chops to it. You know, it's got the behind the scenes stuff to it, you know, with animosity and bad blood, whatever, all that stuff, and it's got the history with the fathers, you know, the two fathers that were just iconic British fighters, great fighters. So it's got everything to draw the people in, you know, to watch that fight.
Teddy pointed out that this isn't just about two fighters, it's about two families, two legacies colliding in the ring. With the history between their fathers and the tension between the sons, it's more than a fight. Now, it's a storyline come to life. Add in the hype, the trash talk, and the unfinished business, and you've got a showdown that's got the entire boxing world locked in. This one isn't just big, it's personal. After breaking down the hype, Teddy Atlas also shared a quick technical look at how this fight could actually play out. Even without diving too deep, he gave a smart and honest read on both fighters' styles. According to Teddy, this isn't just about power or emotion, it's about who controls the space in the ring. Each man has a different plan, and the one who executes better could decide everything.
You know, I mean, you got one guy, if I was to real fast give my thoughts on it without having gotten into it too much, you know, Eubanks, you know, wants to probably keep it on the outside as much as he can and use his skill sets to, you know, use his hand speed and his ability to throw counter punches and, you know, punches from different angles. He needs space, or space accommodates him pretty well and favors him pretty well when he has that space to do that. And I would think that Ben would like to take that space away.
Teddy explained that Eubank thrives when he has room to move, using speed, angles, and sharp counters. For him, space is a weapon, but Ben, on the other hand, needs to close that distance, get inside, and make it rough. It's a classic clash of styles. Finesse versus pressure, range versus aggression. And in fights like this, the one who controls the rhythm usually controls the result. And just when it seemed like most of the boxing world was siding with Eubank, Barry Hearn stepped in with a bold twist. The Matchroom founder didn't just back Conor Benn, he went all in. In a statement that shocked a lot of fans and raised plenty of eyebrows, Barry made it clear he believes Ben's gonna finish the job inside the distance. No points, no judges, just a knockout.
I'm not going to let you go, Barry. I want to ask you, but at the end of the month, obviously, big fight. Eubank Jr. takes on Conor Benn. Well talked about, well documented. Where are you on it?
I think it's going to be a massive fight. I think it's arguably one of the biggest fights ever to take place in England. The personalities, the backstory between the dads, everything works to make this humongous. We could have sold 500,000 tickets. I think I'm with Conor Benn on this. I think he's gone through more than enough in his life, which has now been completely exonerated. What a waste of 2 years of a young man's life. He's got a point to prove, but Eubank is the bigger man. So I see it as a 50-50 fight, and I believe that Conor Benn can knock out Eubank Jr.
Barry's prediction isn't just support, it's a challenge to the narrative. While others point to size and experience, he sees hunger and explosive power as the difference maker. He's putting his faith in the fire Conor brings and believes that when the heat turns up, Benn will break through. It's a risky call, but one that adds even more drama to an already electric matchup. Whether it's bold faith or pure bias, Barry Hearn is all in on Benn by knockout. And to keep the fire burning, Frank Warren also jumped into the conversation with his own passionate take. As one of British boxing's biggest promoters, Frank knows the history, the stakes, and the emotion tied to this fight. He spoke about the rivalry that started with the fathers and how it's now reborn through their sons. For him, this isn't just a main event, it's a moment in British boxing history.
I wanted to let him out the cage. Let him out the cage and let him at him. I want Collins to win the fight. I want him to win the fight. I think it'd be great for him to win the fight. Look, it's rivalry going back to their fathers. Obviously, it's been a big part of British boxing, British sport over the years, and they're their kids. One is 36 years of age now. He's the bigger guy over Conor.
Frank didn't hide his support. He wants Conor Benn to win and sees it as a storybook ending to a decades-long rivalry. He talked about the emotion, the pride, and the roots of this fight that go way beyond the ring. Still, he acknowledged that Eubank Jr. is the bigger, older man and that the challenge is real. Frank is more than just sport. It's legacy versus legacy, and he's hoping Ben carries the torch for the next generation. Frank Warren didn't stop at just backing Ben. He took things a step further with a cheeky dig at Chris Eubank Jr. In another interview, Frank spoke about the energy Ben brings and questioned whether we've even seen his full potential yet. He praised Conor's hunger and drive while throwing a little shade at Eubank's next-gen label, pointing out his age. It was classic Frank. Honest, sharp, and a little playful.
I think Conor has obviously shown what he wants to do. Have we seen, I don't think we've seen the best of Conor Benn yet, and I hope that's the case. I've seen Chris Eubanks at the age of 36. The next generation, I think it's a bit of a liberty calling himself the next generation at the age of 36, because I must have half a chance being the next generation. It's a fight that's caught everybody's imagination, and we'll all be tuning into and watching it.
Frank believes Ben is still evolving, still growing, and that might be the scariest part. He also pointed out that while Eubank has experience, calling himself next gen at 36 is a bit of a stretch. But above all, Frank hit the nail on the head. This fight has captured the imagination of the whole boxing world. Whether you're rooting for youth or legacy, one thing's for sure: everyone will be watching when the bell rings. Eddie Hearn couldn't stay quiet, especially with Conor Benn in his corner. As the man promoting the fight, Eddie's been front and center, watching every move. He gave fans a mix of real insight and classic promoter energy, hyping up the build-up and showing just how intense things are behind the scenes. From training camp to press conferences, Eddie says this one's different. Ben is on a mission.
I mean, that Eubank's playing a blinder for the promotion of the fight. I mean, a little bit annoying. I mean, unfortunately, fight, I'd want to give him a slap myself, but that's not going to happen. So Conor's fired up. I mean, honestly, I've never seen someone put themselves through what he is putting himself through in training camp. He is going to be like a caged animal when that bell goes on April 26th.
Eddie admitted that Eubank has been playing the media game perfectly, even if it's been getting under his skin. But what really stood out was his praise for Conor's insane dedication, calling it the toughest camp he's ever seen. According to Eddie, Ben isn't just ready, he's dangerous, like a caged animal waiting to be unleashed. With the date locked and tension sky high, Eddie's message is clear: this won't be just a fight, it'll be a war from the first bell. Eddie Hearn didn't stop there. He doubled down with even more fire. This time, he acknowledged the obvious. Yes, Conor Benn is giving up size in this fight, but for Eddie, that's not the full story. He believes what Ben lacks in physical advantage, he more than makes up for in raw emotion, mindset, and a hunger you can't teach.
A big disadvantage in size, but he makes up for it in attribute, hunger, youth, tenacity, volatility, and he is in camp with his dad, grafting and dreaming every day of violating Chris Eubank Jr. on April 26th and doing it in spectacular fashion. And I can't wait.
Eddie painted a clear picture. Ben isn't just training, he's obsessing. With his father by his side and revenge in his heart, he's living and breathing this fight every day. Eddie used strong words, saying Conor's dreaming of violating Eubank in the ring. Not just beating him, but doing it with violence and flair. It's that level of obsession, according to Eddie, that could turn the tables. Win or lose, one thing's certain: Ben is coming to make a statement. And everything Eddie said about Conor's mindset is backed up by what we've seen in the gym. Conor Benn's training camp has been nothing short of brutal. Pure tunnel vision. He's pushing himself to the edge every single day, showing the kind of focus that only comes when a fight is personal. This isn't just preparation, it's a mission to prove the doubters wrong and make a statement on April 26th. From punishing strength sessions to non-stop sparring, Conor is grinding like a man possessed. You can see the fire in his eyes. Fast, aggressive, locked in. He's not just training to survive in there, he's training to take over. With his dad guiding him, the old school work ethic is shining through. If training camps are any clue, Ben isn't coming to play games. He's coming to make it violent. After seeing Conor Benn's crazy work rate up close, Eddie Hearn gave one more powerful insight into just how locked in Ben really is. He's not just training hard, he's living, breathing, and thinking about one thing only: Chris Eubank Jr. The obsession is real, and Eddie says it's fueling Conor like never before. This isn't just about winning, it's about sending a message on the biggest stage.
And that's why I think Conor's carried a lot of that into training camp. He wants to do a job on him. He really does, and he sleeps, eats, breathes Chris Eubank Jr. And he'll be ready for what will be a spectacular night at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. From when that first bell goes, he's going to be electric.
And just when you thought the build-up couldn't get more personal, Billy Joe Saunders jumped in with a brutal take that turned even more heads. Billy, who's shared the ring with Chris Eubank Jr., didn't hold back at all. In a recent interview with Simon Jordan, he said what many are too afraid to say out loud. He questioned Eubank's entire future in the sport, not just in this fight, but at the highest level. For Billy, it's not about hate. It's about what Eubank lacks when it really matters.
I've said it from day one. He will never be world champion.
Is that because you don't like him?
No.
Or is that because you don't think he's got the capability?
I'll tell you the reason why. Simon, because I've been in the ring with him. I know the difference between your David Lemieux, why I can see why they were world champion, your Andy Lees, why they were world champion, even John Ryder. Eubank can fight, but he just can't box.
Right.
That's the problem. He can fight, but he can't box. Eubank is, when we were going back 24, 25, like a wind-up toy, you could get him fit, wind him up, let him go, and he'd go all day.
Yeah.
Now we're at the stage of 33, 34, where you've got to learn to pace yourself, pick your punches, flow around. No disrespect to Liam Smith, but he was no different than a punch bag.
Well, you don't think he's going to win a world title?
He'll never, ever, ever be... I'll tell you what I would do with you, Simon. I'll have a bet with you now, and I'll give you 2-1, and I will pay me bets.
Well, I'm not like James as well, yeah.
I will pay me bets. He'll never be world champion as long as he's got an old...
Billy spoke with experience, saying that Eubank Jr. doesn't have what it takes to become a true world champion. He's seen the gaps up close, in the ring, under pressure, when the stakes are real. His words weren't just criticism, they were a serious reality check. And coming from a fellow fighter who's been to the top, it hits different. Whether fans agree or not, one thing's for sure: the spotlight on Eubank just got even hotter. As we reach the end of this breakdown, it's clear that the upcoming clash between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn is more than just a boxing match. It's a showdown filled with history, emotion, and high stakes. From respected voices like Roy Jones Jr. and Teddy Atlas to fighters and promoters on both sides, opinions have been flying in. Some believe Eubank's size, experience, and skill will prove too much. Others are betting on Benn's youth, hunger, and sheer determination to flip the script. This is more than a fight. It's a battle of legacies, and the world will be watching. But what do you think? Will Conor Benn's fire be enough to overcome the experience and size of Chris Eubank Jr.? Can Eubank stay composed and outbox Benn, or will Conor's pressure and power be too much? Does family history push Benn forward or add too much weight on his shoulders? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more videos like this.